Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MCDFNL Netball Show. We're back and we're here throughout the duration of the final series. All those people have been missing the Netball Show in the last month that we've been doing it, you don't have to miss us anymore. 4 weeks left of MCDFNL Netball, 4 MCDFNL Netball shows. That's what we're committing to, including something pretty big on Grand Final week, which we might even get some special guests on from the media conference up in Maryborough. So it's going to be a pretty big few weeks coming up in the netball ranks of the MCDFNL. Shaun Kelly is my name in the host chair, as I have been all year, and joining me, as she does every week, and as she will every week for the rest of the season, AFL Goldfields netball manager Kim Bailey. Welcome, Kimmy. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Shaun. My favourite time of the year, finals time. Really looking forward to a great four weeks. 4 weeks, is it? 4 weeks of finals. So some leagues have already started, so we're in the finals mode already.
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be a big couple of weeks, and starting off with a beautiful weekend as well ahead. In 2 great venues as well around the trap, so we'll be looking forward to some very interesting games. Yeah,
always the busiest week of finals this first week, with of course 4 different match venues on 2 different match days. So it's always pretty hectic, but it's always a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to getting down to Hedges Oval on Saturday and checking it all out. But before we start speaking about finals, we do have some pretty major talking points from the last week to talk about, including some of the biggest milestones you will ever see last week being played at the same ground. Natty Bialaba taking on Avoca last week, and 2 400 gamers at the same venue. We congratulate Kylie Mortlock from Natty Bialaba and Colleen Drummond from Avoca as well, 2 of the absolute stalwarts of our Netball League, and both, Kimmy, bringing up their 400th games last week.
Yeah, it was magnificent achievement by these ladies. And it's good to see Colleen actually shooting at 83% for her game and getting in the best.
Sounds about right. She played A grade too, didn't she?
No. She played B.
That's B grade
so
we're looking at.
She's an absolute sensation. So both of these ladies, as we said last week, they're an ornament to our game, and they should be very proud of themselves. And I heard there was a pretty big night afterwards for the
bush dance down at Avoca, so
yeah,
pretty big.
Pretty big night. So there might be some sore heads the next day by the sounds of it.
Could be.
So yeah, they had a great time. So yeah, good effort, and I don't think we'll see many 400 players again, because just with kids moving out more and going off to school and everything, they don't seem to stay at the clubs as long as they used to. But this is a magnificent achievement. Well done, ladies.
And well done to Kylie Mortlock, who of course started her career at Avoca and then followed the heart, followed it out to Natty, went out there with Craig and stayed there as well, staying out at Natty, and a great job done by Kylie Mortlock and Colleen Drummond in their 400s games. Talking point number 2, obviously we get the finals and we start to get towards event season. We mentioned this on the footy show as well, but different audience, so it's worth mentioning again that award season starts this Monday night, Kimmy, the MCDFNL Junior Presentation Night at the Trotting Club up at Carisbrook. It's going to be a great night as well. It's always great standing on the stage and seeing 400 odd pairs of eyes staring back at you, and the vote count's always fantastic. The kids love hearing their name read out, and just a really fun night, of course, at the Maryborough Harness Racing Club this Monday.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how big it was last year. I was amazed. So many kids, all pretty well behaved too. They had that many kids sitting there, and it was a great function. I'm sure it'll be equally as good this year. So yeah, get along if you can. I suppose you've got to buy tickets, do you, Shaun?
No, you don't. You just turn up for this one. It's a free event. We'll even feed you. We'll even give you a barbie. Great. So just come along. Make yourself available for the night. It's always a fantastic night.
The barbie was sensational last year too.
It was
indeed. How many sausages did you knock off?
Not many, because I was working on the night, so I slipped into the hamburgers at the end of the night. Okay. So I made sure that they were looked after.
No, the snacks are grouse.
Very, very good. And of course, our fantastic partner in Wattle City Meats looking after us on the night this year as well. Talking point number 3, we'll get back onto the A-grade netball, because the ladder, we saw a few changes, and in particular, we saw some changes in the crucial double chance positions. Harcourt and Natty Bialaba, they were in 5th and 4th position going into the round. They swapped places. Harcourt made it into the top 4 on the back of a somewhat unexpected win.
No, I picked them, mate.
You picked them?
I picked them.
Yeah, I picked Carisbrook.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And, of course, Natty Bialaba going down to Avoca as well. Avoca entering the finals with a full head of steam and knocking Natty Bialaba into an elimination final.
Yeah, really interesting result. Look, I think that by the sounds of the Carisbrook game, I think it was a 6-goal difference at Harcourt game. Taylor Williams and Jess Lord in attack in the shooting circle was really good. Had a great game. Taylor's been playing some really good netball. Equally as good as Rebecca Lovett's been as well for Carisbrook. But they, they've got some great kids in Carisbrook as well. Janae Lanfranchi, she's just an up-and-coming superstar as well. So,
former Natty girl.
Yeah, and I think Harcourt really fought well. They knew that this spot was on the line, and just had to get the win, and hopefully the other game fell into place what it did for them. So, great effort by them, and they can do some damage in there if they get. Everything comes together on a day like any team. But
exactly,
I've sort of liked the look of the Harcourt team from the start of the season. So yeah, it's a great result from them. And then you just look to the other game of Avoca. Wow.
It shows that this is going to be a red-hot final series this year, because Avoca in 7th have knocked off a team that's sitting in 4th, which shows it's anybody's game. We know Avoca, they finished 5th a couple of years ago. Nobody rated them at all, and all of a sudden ended up in a grand final. Yeah,
two-goal win, and they set it up in the first quarter with a 14-8 goal quarter. So
that'll do it.
6 goals, and they just couldn't peg it back. It sort of ebbed and flowed. They come back. Natty come back in the second, and then went out again in the third. And it was a sort of just peaking and troughing all game. But they again, Caitlin Drummond. So that's a good weekend for the Drummond. She's a great kid. She had a fantastic game. 73% she shot at, but dominated in that shooting circle as well. So great things ahead for them too. So it's going to be really close. Hard for someone to come from that 7th position to win a granny, but not unheard of, surely.
Not unheard of. As said, Avoca came from outside the top 4 a couple of years ago into a granny. They didn't win it because they ran head first into a pretty strong Navarre side.
Colleen was on the sheets. I'm not quite sure she got on or not.
She could play 4. We could be celebrating 401 now.
Yeah, who knows. So it'd be great to see her play. And Lucy Walkley had a really good game as well, and has played some good netball. But I don't write Natty off. They're very, very experienced team, and going into finals, they bring a hell of a lot of experience. And Amber Perry is a gun. Ebony Knights is another up and coming player. Chanel Martin, Shanae Mills. They've just got there's a team full of superstars there too. I still think they miss Naomi Medlin.
Yep.
That's been a big loss for them this year. Hopefully she'll come back into the league next year, depending what's happening with all her busy life and kids and everything. So I think they've really missed her though, and you just see such a pivotal player last year. But dropped into that 5th spot, so they'll be going into an elimination final in a position they haven't really been in for some time.
No, that's exactly right. I think just about ever since the LPFL disbanded and we became the league that we are now in the MCDFL, Natty's been right up there in the netball stakes and qualifying finals every year.
I'm pretty sure they'll be go hell for leather on the weekend and see how they go and get a win.
They certainly will. So let's have a look at what's in store this weekend in the first week of the finals. 2 venues in action on both days, Princess Park and Hedges Oval, as always, in the first week of the finals. Saturday is qualifying final day, kicking off with the first qualifying finals, the 1st versus 4th games at Princess Park. The 13 and under, we have Maryborough Rovers taking on Newstead. The 15 and under is Maryborough Rovers versus Avoca. The 17 and under is Trentham versus Carisbrook. C grade, Harcourt versus Carisbrook. B grade is Trentham versus Avoca. And in the A grade game, Trentham versus Harcourt. I suppose that's the reward you get for Harcourt for getting into the top 4, a meeting with the top team in the opening week of the finals, and a team that has dropped just 1 game for the year and has looked very, very strong all season long in Trentham. Yes,
look, this Trentham team, I had a look at them the other day, and they're a great team. Erin Richardson and Peggy Shell are absolute superstars, and they balance it really well with some of their young kids, Hayley Burke and Shana Ford. And then you bring some more experience into that lineup too with Casey Kidd and the Parks girls as well.
Yep.
So they're a super team. Poor Harcourt. I think they've done really, really well, as we said last week, to push themselves into the top 4. But I don't think they'll get over the likes of a team like Trentham.
Yeah, very tough ask for Harcourt this week. But what they have done is that if they do have a bad day and go down, they've got themselves another game next week. So I suppose that's the silver lining in for Harcourt. And make no mistake, they'll find themselves in really a nothing to lose situation, because they play next week or the week after, depending on what happens. They're going to play another game. No one's going to tip them to play Trentham, so they can go in and just go hell for leather at this one and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
No one's expecting them to win, so if they lose, then it's as per expectations. But if they win it, it's a preliminary final, and it's avoiding Trentham again until the grand final. So it's pretty juicy.
Saying that, they've got a couple of teams ahead of them. They're looking pretty good too in Navarre, and they knocked over Carisbrook, didn't they?
So,
but Navarre's they might have a bit of a stumbling block with.
They could indeed, and that is a beautiful segue into our second qualifying final, being played at Hedges Oval. I'm going to have a look at these ones, Kimmy, so I'm very excited about this one. I'll be at Hedges Oval on Saturday. So the 13 unders is Maldon and Avoca, the 15 unders is Talbot and Harcourt, the 17 unders is Harcourt and Natty Bialaba, C grade is Royal Park and Natty, B grade is Carisbrook and Natty, and in the A grade it's Navarre taking on Carisbrook. Battle of the heavyweights in many ways. Navarre, again, probably not used to the Hedges Oval Court, wouldn't have played there all that much. They've finished on top of the ladder the last few years, and they've just been Princess Park all the way through. So interesting to see how they adjust to that. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, though. Very, very strong team.
No.
I'm just trying to find a storyline.
Yeah, that's the difference with footy and netball. It's court to court. You play on it. If you're good enough, you're going to win on it. And they are good enough. They've really stepped it up the last few weeks with their shooting power. 953 end up for the season, so the highest shooting percentage goals for the season. And one goal below, defensively below Trentham. So, the best defensive team in the competition.
I was going to say the best offensive and the best defensive. So
yeah, so the percentage was awesome. You know, this is a seasoned team.
Yeah,
they know how to win finals. They love this time of year. As much as I'd like to have a competitive game, I think they will really put their foot down and get a really solid win this week.
Yeah, Navarre, no strangers to qualifying finals, and they know exactly what needs to be done. Elimination final day. So try and find the words required to get through the rest of the footy show, the netball show today. I was going to say if I get to Saturday, that is. Princess Park, first elimination final on Sunday this week. It's Lexington versus Natty Bialaba in the 13 under. The 15 under is Lexington and Campbell's Creek. The 17s is Lexington and Navarre. C grade is Lexington and Maldon. B grade is Lexington versus Maldon. A grade is Natty Bialaba versus Lexington. It's a home and away game for Lexington. They've got all of their teams in action on the same day.
Big day for Lexington.
Going to be a big ask for them in the A grade, though, obviously. Coming into 8th spot, doing well to get in the finals. They would have probably been preparing for Harcourt. Now they get their old friends in Natty.
Yeah. Lexington was probably a little bit disappointed with their season compared to where they finished last year. I think they might have finished 4th or 5th last year, off the top of my head.
I think they might have.
Yeah, so they'd be a little bit disappointed in their performance, although they had a really good game on the weekend. I think they got a win this week. I can't remember.
They were up against, from memory, Trentham.
Oh, no, they didn't.
So they wouldn't have.
No, they didn't. But that was a pretty competitive game from all accounts. So just had a look at the scores before, Shawnee.
Yes, another two very experienced finals teams as well.
Yeah. But I think Natty, as we said before, we've already discussed them. They're great in finals, and I think they'll, unfortunately, say goodbye for Lexington for A grade for 2016. And
on Sunday, also at Hedges Oval, in the second elimination final day, the 13s is Talbot versus Carisbrook, 15s is Newstead and Maldon, 17s is the Maryborough Rovers versus Avoca. C grade is Navarre and Avoca. B grade's Harcourt versus Navarre, and the A grade game, Maryborough Rovers versus Avoca. This has got the potential to be the closest game of the weekend. I reckon this will be a ripping game. Yeah. Obviously, Avoca showed last week that they can mix it with the top teams, and the Rovers have shown all year long that they can mix it with the top teams. Yeah, two teams that have a really nice mix of youth and experience in them as well. 2 points separated them for the whole year. So Natty finished, Avoca on 40 and Maryborough on 42. So very, very close. I just think with Avoca's form, how they're going in after last week's game, I think they might get the win here. I think they might knock over Rovers. What are you going to do? I'm tipping Rovers. I reckon Rovers have been fantastic this year. They're a team that have come from the clouds a bit. You're right about that mix of experience and youth. Rovers have got it with girls like Amanda Parkinson in the team. Obviously, Maddie Davis, who's been fantastic all year long. And then you get the girls like the Raven girls that are just such good netballers and coming up into A grade. They are, but you're playing A grade and it's your first time in A grade, playing in an A grade grand final. There's going to be a lot of nerves out there. Yep. Maddie Davis has been sensational. Oh, hasn't she? She's just had a fantastic season, and she's just a soldier down there in defence. And Amanda Parkinson, her versatility is probably one of her strengths. She can swing for the mid-court into goals. So there's a lot of positives there, but Caitlin Drummond's been sensational. She has, and she's going to take a lot of stopping. And that matchup between her and Maddie should be a really exciting one to watch. Certainly will be. You're going with Avoca. I'll go with Rovers in this one, just so we've got that point of difference in what's going to be a great weekend of netball throughout the MCDFNL. It's been a pleasure bringing you the netball show for this week. We'll be back again next week, Kimmy. Very much looking forward to this. Obviously, the shows will get a little bit shorter because there's less games to talk about each week, so that'll make life easy and you don't have to concentrate for quite as long. but we'll make sure that they're very exciting for you going forward. Thanks for joining us this week,
No worries, lovely to be back.
And thank you for joining us this week as well on the MCDFNL Netball Show. We'll see you next week to bring you up to date with everything happening in the 2016 final series in the MCDFNL.